Hey, I think there's a very obvious problem with the internet hating women, whether it's hating women on the things they do, or making women insecure and hate themselves, or even just constantly putting two women against each other. And a huge part of internet culture is literally based off judging women or hating them. And I wanted to make a video like this because it's such like a huge online issue, always has, probably, I hope it won't always will be the case. People just hate women, putting two women against each other for funsies, or whether there's a new male influencer whose whole brand is the fact that he fucking hates women. Okay, I can't swear this in the end of the video. Or whether there's new trends to make women just constantly insecure and then hate themselves. Specifically on TikTok, there are trends that genuinely just make women hate themselves, whether it's things like strawberry legs, hip dips, are you boy pretty or are you girl pretty, what's your visual weight, ooh, colour theory, what colour suits you best, do you have smile lines, do you have crow's feet, do you have wrinkles, do you have good facial harmony, do you have high cortisol levels? Like, there's just one thing after another consistently, and it just feels like TikTok just invents new ways to hate yourself as a woman, or just to hate women in general. And by the time I post this video, there's probably at least another new trend on how to make yourself insecure, and they'll like disguise them as like ways to glow up. And typically when there are trends like this online, specifically on TikTok, it's usually to push a product. Especially now with TikTok Shop, it's literally on screen as the video is shown. There's literally a link in the corner where it's like, only like £1 to cure your insecurity that you just discovered from this video. Some of the things are just like genuinely so unnecessary, and like, I'm here to de-influence you to not buy these things because you do not need them. You do not need tape to go over your mouth, okay, when you sleep. You simply, you do not need that. Why would you need that? TikTok is like, oh, so you don't mouth breathe and then you can get like a jawline. And maybe there are actually some scientific benefits for things like snoring or like wherever. But do not be doing these things for vanity. I think it is so silly. And they're constantly like pushing these kind of like serums for like your face. It's like, these will get rid of all your wrinkles. You will get rid of your smile lines, your crow's feet, you're this, you're that. Like, it should be seen as such like a good thing to be able to grow old and have like wrinkles and like quote unquote imperfections, because not everybody gets like the pleasure of being able to grow old. Like, it should be viewed as such like a good thing. Like, you were able to live your life. This is one influencer specific, and I feel like you probably know what I'm talking about, but there's probably multiple of these who like think about like anti-aging, and they're always really fucking scary looking. I'm sorry. It should be such like a good thing to be like celebrated, to be able to get old. You know, like, I don't want to look like a 12-year-old forever. I think it is such like a great thing to be able to grow old. Anyways, other things on TikTok where like they're trying to sell you straws that will not give you wrinkles around your mouth. Like, just drink. I don't know. It just seems like such like a thing of, you should be able to just drink with straws and that should be it. Who cares if, oh, maybe they potentially will give you wrinkles around your mouth. Who cares? Like, actually, who cares? And say if this was such a huge thing for you of, oh my god, really do want to, why would you buy a product for it? It's so stupid that they're just trying to push these products, feed you these products you do not need. And generally one of the worst ones I've seen is hair identifier spray, which video on screen, what you spray what looks to be like dry shampoo, and it makes your face all white to identify the hairs on your face so you can shave them off. And it's like, they did the whole discussion with things like body hair in general, and I'm like, you know, at the end of the day, kind of do what you want, but also it's like, it's natural. Your body made hair for a reason. You don't need to get rid of it, basically. But if you do want to, that's up to you. You know, I'm not gonna stop you from, I don't know, shaving your armpits, shaving your legs, whatever. Do whatever you want to do. But at the end of the day, hair is there. It's natural. It's not a disgusting thing. Like, a lot of these videos when they're trying to push these like hair identifier sprays, it's like, ew, I didn't know I was such a bearded lady. Ew, I didn't know I was such a freak. I didn't know I was such like a weirdo.
Is this normal to have this much hair on your face as a girl? This is disgusting.
I didn't realize I was the bearded lady. Sorry, y'all. Didn't realize I had a mustache.
And then it makes everybody else watching those TikToks be like, ew, oh my god, I've got hair. And it's like, yeah, because it's normal. Like, having like peach fuzz basically all over your face, that is normal. And a lot of people don't even realize they have it before these TikToks. TikTok just preys on people's insecurities or gives them new ones, and then is like, buy the product, buy the product, buy the product, guys. And it is so bad, because without seeing these videos, you wouldn't even have these insecurities. Like, nobody knew what strawberry legs was before TikTok, or like hippo dips, or like other things I've mentioned, like visual weight. Don't know what that means, don't want to know. Or the are you boy pretty or girl pretty one is just so, it's literally just like thinly veiled misogyny, where it's like I'm pretty and like a girl when you're pretty and like a boy way. It's like, this is just misogyny, no? And there's just so many other stupid things, and this goes into an even deeper issue of like basically pushing surgery onto people. Like, I'm not sure you say this, is it buccal, what is it? Buccal fat removal, wherever the fuck, where you remove the fat from your cheeks so you look like that, you know what I mean? I don't know, it's like, who cares? Some people just have rounder faces. You don't need to, because I always see things like pushing stuff to do with cortisol. It's like, oh, your cortisol levels are probably up, that's why you have a round face. It's like, some people just have round faces and that's okay. You don't need to go get surgery to do that. You don't need to take some supplements that TikTok is pushing you to make your face look scary. You know, just leave it as it is. And again, I don't even know, like, half the stuff I've mentioned, I am not looking into, because personally, me, I'm not trying to give myself insecurities. I'm pretty secure in myself. I don't know, it's like an autistic thing where I'm like, I'm a bit weird and off-putting as is. So I'm like, I feel like I don't give in to, like, peer pressure because of my autism. So I'm very, like, I'm gonna do what I want to do. You are not gonna pressure me into doing things. Which is it. I'm very thankful for when it comes to things like beauty standards, because I'm like, I kind of don't give a fuck personally. You know what I mean? But I can understand how these things will like pressure a lot of girls, specifically like young girls, into like purchasing these things and doing these things because they think, oh, I want to be like desirable with like the beauty standard. You know what I mean? And like the beauty standard is so ever changing, especially with TikTok. Every few months it kind of like changes, it feels like. Where it's like, this is desirable now, and then the next thing will contradict that. It's the same with like a lot of people got fillers and are now like getting it dissolved to try and match like what the new beauty standard is currently. And it's like, I don't know, I did find it all very sad because I could not imagine being a young girl growing up on today's internet. I feel like I've been very online since a young age, but like internet then compared to internet now is very different. Like I had Instagram probably from like age 10 or 11, but the people on Instagram, it was always just my friends, my family. Like there wasn't really influencers, so I never had like that pressure, like as a young child being like, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. Like Instagram back in the day was just like silly things you tag your friends in, or little stupid text post, you know what I mean? Or like sometimes Twitter posts, and it was just all like stupid stuff. There was no like influencers, and even like beauty influencers on YouTube that I used to watch as a child with things like Zoella and like Bethany Moore, or like that kind of category, where it was just like, oh, here's a fun little hairstyle you can wear to school, or here's like a tiny little simple makeup look you could do. And it wasn't, oh, you're a freak if you have body hair, or like, do you know what I mean? Like it was never stuff like that pushed. And granted, the internet was a lot smaller back then, because everything was like way more like newer, like especially Instagram. But now it just feels like every corner of the internet you go, there's just some kind of new insecurity being pushed on you, a new product to sell. And it's like really sad when you look on like TikTok and you see like child beauty influencers. And I'm talking very, very young. Like there was this one like viral video, literally probably a couple months back, of like these two like actual children. Like some of them, they didn't have teeth fully through, yeah. Like it was crazy, and it's like, I could not imagine growing up with that. That is actually insane. And specifically with the thing of internet hating women, they also hate like female celebrities like a lot. Like I feel like it's a huge thing in like stan culture, like on Twitter. I used to be one of you guys, okay? Where it's just constantly comparing women, just like constantly, like no matter what side of the internet you're on, whether it's based on like TV shows or movies, so you like characters, or whether it's you're on the K-pop side, or whether it's like YouTubers, streamers, whatever, literally any side, down to you, the main discourse constantly is just comparing two women constantly. I don't know, especially when it comes to like the main pop girlies like on Twitter, because like I feel like that kind of gets onto like normal Twitter a lot. Like that comes up on my timeline a lot of time. There's just people comparing women constantly, and it's like you can like things that a woman singer does without being like, she's better than her. Oh, she outsold. She flopped. Like, I don't know. Is this such a toxic place? Like, the internet is. Obviously, the internet's always going to be toxic, because especially post 2020, post lockdown, literally everyone became online in 2020. Like, you had to, realistically, or you'd have like no human contact. And I think since then, the internet just become like extremely more toxic, because people who typically wouldn't be online before COVID that are like now online and in these spaces, if that makes sense. Like the internet is like the biggest it has ever been, it feels like, because pre-COVID it felt like it was a lot smaller, at least like certain places. Do you get what I'm saying? That's like more for another video. Everything I've mentioned in this video is also like way harsher on like women of color or like any kind of like minority, when it was like trans women, black women, etc, etc. The biggest example I can think of is everything that went down with Megan Thee Stallion, because like how does the internet hate women enough that like there was a huge part of like the internet for a good couple of months was the fact that Megan Thee Stallion got shot. If that's not like the biggest example of like the internet genuinely just hating women, then I don't know what is. Because what do you mean there was like jokes made about the fact that a woman got shot in the foot? And mind you, the man who did it went to prison. So like you can't even argue that like, oh, it didn't actually happen if someone has been convicted, if someone is currently serving time. And like don't even get me started on the whole Megan and Nicki thing, because that was just so like, this did not need to happen. You know what I mean? Like I love Megan Thee Stallion like a lot. And I just think it's like insane that there was just like this whole discourse of like whether she got shot or like, I don't know, there's just like so many factors in there that I'm like, I don't even want to get into. I didn't even want to get into, because I'm not trying to get doxxed if I mention Nicki Minaj, you know what I mean? So you guys do you. You guys do you. Yeah, to kind of wrap this up, I don't think anytime soon it will stop, like the hate towards women. Like things like this are even getting brought into real life. Like there's been a lot of things happening in the UK of like women being stabbed or like assaulted, like way more, and it's just a very scary place to be right now, like on the internet and real life. The internet like just generally hits women, and I know I mainly talked about things like insecurities and stuff, but it would be stupid not to mention like people like Andrew Tate and like those genre of like men on podcasts who like just say the most like insane shit, or like I can't even remember the guy's name, and I don't even want to remember him, of like that one guy who was like, oh, they should like not let women vote in the US anymore and stuff, and like blah blah blah. Like I literally seen a clip of it the other day, and it's like, that is insane. Like it's just scary how there are so many people out there who genuinely just hate women online and offline. At the end of this video, I would just like to say, just be careful with what you're interacting with. You do not need any of these products. You are beautiful the way you are. You do not need to be, you know, sleeping with tape on your mouth and not smiling and doing all these anti-aging things. And it's like, please just live your life, experience things. I promise you, if you have wrinkles, it's not going to kill you. You are going to be perfectly fine if you have wrinkles. You're going to be perfectly fine if you don't have a sharp jawline. You are going to be perfectly fine if you have body hair. Like, you do not need all this stuff. Just think critically when seeing things that are pushing you products that you didn't even know you needed. You never even heard of the thing you need it for, and now suddenly you need it. You didn't need it to begin with, you know what I mean? I'll just leave it there. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you like and subscribe, that really helps me a lot. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!